So all 24 teams for the 25-26 championship season have been confirmed, and it's about time I kick off my 25-26 season content with my first ranking of the season. And today I'm going to be ranking all 24 stadiums that are going to be hosting games in the championship in the 25-26 season. So as someone that absolutely loves stadiums, I've been to over 250 stadiums. All 92 of the EFL, well, that's excluding Everton, have decided to build a new one. I'm going to have to go there at some point. I feel like I'm an expert, just a little bit, when it comes to ranking stadiums, but this is still my opinion today. I'm going to be going over all 24 stadiums, like I've said, in the Championship that will host games next season. We're going to start from the very worst. We're going to go all the way up to my favourite. Like I say, this is just my opinion. So if my least favourite ground is your favourite ground, don't be too angry with me, but let me know in the comments your favourite ground in the Championship, which away days you're looking forward to next season, and what grounds you don't like going to. Just having a little bit of an overview of the 24 clubs next season. Some really, really good grounds here. So without further ado, let's get on to the list. I'm going to start off with 24th, and that is Oxford United. And I think it just goes without saying, really. There's 3 stands, and behind one goal, it's just a car park. It's in the middle of nowhere, there's absolutely nothing around it. And this is one where, if I slag the ground off, the home fans probably won't be annoyed with me, because every Oxford fan I've ever spoken to really isn't a big fan of the Kassam. There is plans for Oxford to move away from the Kassam Stadium in the next few years. Hopefully the new ground is a massive upgrade. And if I do this countdown in a few years' time, Oxford won't be rock bottom. 23rd then, we've got new additions in Wrexham, a ground I visited when they were in the National League. It was Ben Foster's debut. Actually, I was in that away end with the York fans. That's the only time I've been to the racecourse, so it will be a new ground with Coventry for me next season, which I'm really, really looking forward to. I'm just not a massive fan of it. They got rid of the old terracing behind one goal, seeing as it was unsafe. And for me now, it just seems like a little bit of a rundown, old school ground. You've got a Gillingham style stand behind one goal. The away end's not the biggest, but I do know that they are wanting to upgrade it. So in a couple of years' time, like I say, similar to Oxford, Wrexham won't be this low on the list. 22, Swansea City. And this is one that I don't really know. I don't really dislike Swansea's ground, but I feel like it's just a little bit plain, and the next few grounds are all very similar, really. It's just a bowl-style stadium, and we have finally broken the curse at Swansea as well now after beating them last season. But I don't know, Swans fans, let me know in the comments what you think. I don't think it's a great stadium. 21st, just above that, I've gone with Hull City. Again, just another bowl stadium, not too much character. A lot of the next few are going to be pretty similar, to be fair. 20th, Leicester City. Again, it's just a bowl. There's nothing really, no atmosphere, even on a derby day. 19th, Southampton. Yep, again, it's a bowl just with red seats. It's above Leicester because I'm a Coventry fan, I'm going to be honest. 18th, Stoke City then, and Stoke's a little bit similar to the grounds I've just spoken about, Southampton and Leicester, which are just bowls. There's really nothing to them. The only difference is it does have a double-tiered stand, which for me just makes this ground a little bit better. Stoke's ground was closer to the city centre. For me, it would be a little bit higher on this list, but because it's so far out and there's absolutely nothing near it, I've got to leave it this low, haven't I? 17th, Derby County. Yet again, another bowl stadium, really. They do have a 2-tiered stand, but that's that. 16th, Middlesbrough. It's Derby with red seats, and it says Borough on like one of the stands. That's it. 15th, Coventry City. Yes, this is my team, and look, I couldn't put us any higher. I really, really couldn't. But I couldn't put us any lower either, and this is reason why, and I feel like we've got the best bowl out of the rest of the bowls. You've got a really good shopping park next to it. There's plenty of pubs around the ground, at least a 10-minute walk. You don't get that at a lot of the other grounds that I've just mentioned. And also there's a train station a 2-minute walk from the ground as well. I know the trains aren't as efficient. That's not the club's fault. Blame Network Rail. And as well, the inside of the ground as well, it's not just a bowl. I mean, similar to Stoke, it's got 3 stands that are all the same and then a double-tiered stand. It's not a great football ground, but I just feel like it's better than the rest of them. Come on, I've got to make some sort of argument, but yeah, I couldn't put it any higher. Anyway, we're going to move on from the bowls now. 14th, Millwall. This is the first one that I would really say is a proper football ground. It's nothing fancy, but it really does a job. Millwall is a massive community club, really, in London. You know, they've never really won anything big. They're known as the biggest small club in the world, but I really, really like Millwall's den. Really, really like it. 13th, West Bromwich Albion's Hawthorns. Now, this one I like. I just feel like, obviously, you know, it's an old school ground that has been done up and been modernised. I just feel like it's turned into too much of a kind of bowl feel for me. I don't dislike the Hawthorns, it just doesn't really stand out to me. I know some people really, really like it. I don't know, it's another one where I look at it and go, yeah, it's a proper football ground. I just don't think it should be any higher on this list. 12th then, we're going into the top half of the table, and it's Preston North End, Deepdale. I think I've been here 4 times, maybe 5, maybe 6 even. I've never seen us win here. For me, it's similar to West Brom, where it's an old school ground. It's been there for a long time, but it's been done up. It's been modernised. I do like one unique thing about Preston. I think Portsmouth have it as well. We'll speak about it later on when they come up in the list. But just the designs of the seats, it's so unique. They're one of 2 clubs in the EFL that have these on the seats. So I really, really like that about Preston. I think you'll find there's a lot more grounds in this league that I like than I dislike, which is good because in previous seasons there really hasn't been that, especially when there's teams like Sunderland in the league. Moving on to number 11 now, and it's Queen's Park Rangers, Loftus Road. Now, this one splits opinions. I've spoken to people that think this is one of the worst grounds in world football. I've spoken to people that would put this in the top 3, top 4. And to be honest, if you'd asked me, maybe the first time I went to Loftus Road, I'd have probably put this in the top 3, top 4, thought, yeah, great ground. After going there a lot of times now, I do still really, really like the ground. But I just think, like, I still have to look at it, compare it to the rest of the grounds that I've got above it. And I just don't think Loftus Road's better. I think, you know, you've got to look at modern day football and how grounds can advance and expand. And we'll speak about one ground in a minute that would have been a lot lower on this list a couple of years ago, but they've done so much work to the ground and it's improved massively that it's gone higher up. And I just don't think there's been enough work that's happened to Loftus Road in recent years to keep up with the rest of the grounds on this list. In 10th, Watford. Now, Watford, yeah, that's a ground that would have been a lot lower on the list maybe 10, 15 years ago before they did that Elton John stand. Really nice ground, small, compact, around about 20,000 capacity. I really, really like Watford's ground. Been here, I think, 4 times now. I do like the stand to the right of the away end at Vicarage Road. I just like the old roof. And for me, that's just, yeah, a massive, massive plus. It keeps that modern feel because all the seats are quite modern. The Elton John stand's brand spanking new. I think it's less than 10 years old. You've still got the old frames of the old stands. And I really, really like that. 9th, Birmingham City. Now, I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago QPR when I said there was one ground that would be a lot lower. This ground would have probably just been under Millwall a couple of years ago. A lot of work has happened at St Andrews. Obviously, they've had new owners come in. They were relegated to League One. They absolutely walked League One. But I feel like they're in for a shock next season. I think anyone going to St Andrews is in for a shock as well because I went there last pre-season and I saw a lot that's changed. Obviously, this was Coventry's home ground for a couple of seasons, so I'm a little bit more familiar with this one than all the other grounds other than Coventry's, you know, CBS, obviously. Birmingham had the money to improve and their stadium looks a lot nicer now. They've got safe standing in the cot behind the goal. The only stand that really could do a bit of work is the main stand, but I believe it's either listed or the people who live in the houses behind it don't want anything to, I don't know. Number 8, Sheffield United. Now, this is one that I'm going to say probably the most overrated ground in the Championship. I'm not saying I dislike it. Before I went to Bramall Lane, I had this kind of idea that I was going to be blown away and go, yeah, it's the top ground, like, brilliant. I just didn't think that. I do think it's a really, really good ground. I just don't think it's really, you know, up there with maybe a top 5, top 10 in England, like some people have said. I've heard people say it's the best ground in the country. All the grounds above it are slightly better. Number 7, Norwich City, Carrow Road. And I actually quite like going to Carrow Road, other than watching the football, actually. I don't like watching us play at Carrow Road. For those that don't know, we bottled a 1-0 lead in the 89th minute and lost 2-1 last season. But as a stadium, it's nice. I think the away end is what lets it down for me, but I'm just looking at it just as a stadium. I'm not ranking away ends. I like the Barclay behind the goal, that double-tiered stand where the atmosphere is. You've got the moving screen, which is really, really unique. And it's a ground that just suits Norwich really, really well. It's a ground that in the summer looks absolutely fantastic with all the yellow and green shirts. But it doesn't make the top 6. We're moving on to the top 6 then. And in number 6 position, I'm going to go Bristol City's Ashton Gate. Now, I've been to this stadium, I think maybe 5, 6 times. For me, it's a really, really nice stadium. They've got 3 stands that have had a lot of work doing to them. And you've got that modern feel in an old school ground. And that's what I like. Just for me, it's having that old school feel, but still feeling comfortable. There's not really a bad view in that stadium, which for me is really, really good. And what I do like, even though I go to these stadiums as an away fan, They put the away fans in the worst stand. View from the away end, I mean, even still, you're seeing 3 fantastic stands. It's a brilliant stadium, and it's night and day from where it was, what was it, 10 years ago when they were playing League One, before they had all this done to it. So big up to Bristol City, 6th place for me. Not my favourite ground, but I do really, really like it. Number 5 then, very similar to Bristol City actually in its design, is the Valley. Charlton Athletic, a newly promoted side, are going in 5th place. I'm really happy to see Charlton come up because I've only been here once. It was when Bakayoko scored the equaliser and then the winner. Absolute scenes, absolute scenes. Looking back on that, that was like an unbelievable away day. I highly doubt when we go to Charlton this season, it's going to be anywhere near that. But I did really, really like my trip to the Valley. It's a brilliant stadium, similar to Bristol City. Like I say, you've got 3 stands all connected and then the away end's kind of off to one side in one stand. What I like a little bit more about the Valley and why it's just slightly higher is how steep the stands are. I just love a steep stand. It feels big, it feels imposing. Really, really looking forward to going back to Charlton and the Valley. This isn't no recency bias either, because I went to that ground in maybe 2018 and then haven't been back. Some of these grounds I've been to like 6 times since then, but it doesn't quite make the top 4. In 4th spot is Blackburn Rovers Ewood Park. Now, Ibrox is one of my favourite stadiums, and what I like about Ibrox is how they've got the double-tiered stands on 3 sides and then a separate stand. It's similar to Ibrox in the sense that it does have 3 two-tiered stands. The only thing difference is then it's got like a 1-tiered stand with red and blue seats, and that's miles away from the pitch. Now, I'm going to be honest, Blackburn's ground's really, really smart. If that stand to the right of the away end, I believe it's called the Riverside stand, was better, even if that was just flat out the 2-tiered stand that was on the left, this could easily be 1, 2, maybe 3 on this list. But I've still put it quite high because I really, really like Ewood Park. It's still one of my favourite stadiums. It's one when you go there, you kind of, you know, thrown back a little bit. And I do really, really like that. When I go to Ewood Park, I do really just like how imposing the stadium is. Like I say, the Valley is quite an imposing ground. From 14 and above are all grounds that I really like. Obviously, I like the CBS as well, but not like as a stadium. Do you know what I mean? It's just kind of where I grew up. And this next one in number 3, just missing out from that automatic spot, Sheffield Wednesday's Hillsborough. Now, this ground, I think, gets a lot of stick because it is really, really run down. And I have always kind of, you know, gone round saying they need to knock that away end down. They just do. Like, it's just really, really run down. And I've never not been in the away end. I think I've been there 4 times now. I've never sat in any other stands. But the other 3 stands are similar to Charlton now. They're just really, really imposing. They're absolutely massive. It's a huge, huge ground. Couldn't imagine going to Hillsborough and it being absolutely full, because that would be insane. What I do like about Hillsborough and what really puts it in that 3rd position for me is the stand opposite the away end and just how big and steep it is. You can find some old pictures on Google. I'm going to put a few on the screen now of this stand before there were seats there when it was a terrace. It was absolutely huge. A proper football ground. And I tell you what, I can't believe this stadium hosted football in League One, because it's just huge. It's such a historic ground as well, like all the big games that have happened at Hillsborough over the years. But Hillsborough isn't number 1. So we've went through 22 of next season's 24 championship grounds. And these next 2, I have been tossing and turning. I have been tossing and turning on which one I like the most. And number 2 is Ipswich Town's Portman Road. Now, an hour ago, when I actually wrote the list and the notes for this video, this was number 1. So any Ipswich fans that may be a little bit annoyed this isn't number 1, it's a close number 2. I don't want to give it a joint number 1, but it's a close number 2. Maybe if the away end was in a different stand and I had a different view every time I've been to Portman Road, because I've only been here twice. If I had a different view every time I've been to Portman Road, maybe it would be different. But I don't know. When I go to Portman Road this season, I really want to sit down the bottom because it's a proper football ground. You've got that 3-tiered stand, and any ground with a 3-tiered stand, you're talking Ibrox, Goodison Park, man. We've lost Goodison Park. Like, that 3-tiered stand at Goodison is iconic. Just the old 3-tiered stands. I'm not talking the Emirates or Spurs, like a proper one. Yeah, to see one of them in the championship, brilliant. And I love them so much. And then you've got the 2 stands behind both goals, a double-tiered stand. And then you've got the old school stand where they house the away fans. It's a proper football ground. And then the tunnel in the corner with the house, like, kind of thing. Iconic, absolutely iconic. I know I sound like a geek, but I honestly love Portman Road. And the first time I ever went here was the last game before COVID. And I was actually quite blown away because at that point, I think I'd been maybe 50 or 60 of the 92. So there was a lot of grounds I still hadn't visited. And to be honest, my opinion going into it wasn't Portman Road's a ground you must visit. But I'm going to sit here now and say if you haven't been to any of these grounds, or Portman Road's a ground you haven't been to, you have to go to Portman Road. And the next one, number one on this list, and I've gone on record to say that this was one of my favourite away days. It's one of my favourite grounds already. Number one is Fratton Park, Portsmouth. And like I said, look, I could have put this number two. I could have said that, you know, Portman Road is a better ground. You know, they're neck and neck. They're still in my head, they're neck and neck. I've seen Fratton Park improve pretty much every single time I've visited. I think I've been there 4 times now, and the away end has improved so much. They've now got safe standing in there, a better concourse. It's 4 separate stands in that stadium, and every single stand has seen so much improvement. You've also got the mural on the Fratton end as well, which is absolutely iconic. And then you've got the stand to the right as well, which has also seen so many improvements. You know, Portsmouth want to stay at Fratton Park by the looks of it, and that is fantastic. They're not pushing for a move away to a bowl stadium, just like Southampton down the road when they left the Dell to St Mary's. If on this list I had the Dell, the Highfield Road, Filbert Street, the baseball ground, it would be a completely different list because it's all these old school grounds. But yeah, I was able to just compare them all, so they're all the same, like a bowl, and it's not great. And I love the old school grounds, and that is what I love about Fratton Park. It's a proper old school ground. It's not the biggest, it's not the grandest, but it's a proper football ground. And that's why it's number one on this list. But yeah, that just about wraps it up for this video. If you have enjoyed, please do leave a like. And if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. It does help me out massively. But yeah, there's not much COV games to look forward to in a while. I look forward to pre-season. And of course, visiting every single one of these grounds next season and bringing you guys the content. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in a bit.